Hello Year 12, welcome to video 6 in this MM4 series. Applications vary in volume, and let's have a quick recap of what we've done so far because, you know, revision is a wonderful thing. We looked at, first of all, error in measurement and calculation. So we looked at absolute error, plus or minus half of the smallest measurement that you can make. Right? That's absolute error. Percentage error is your absolute error divided by the measurement, expressed as a percentage, right? Times by 100%. We looked at parts of a circle: circles, semicircles, quadrants, sectors, annuluses. We looked at the dissection of composite shapes into more regular figures like rectangles, triangles, and so on, and calculating the areas that way. We have also looked at the surface area of prisms. Okay, and we're moving on with that a little bit more today. The surface area of a prism, we looked at calculating that as working out the area of the base, the perimeter of the base multiplied by the height, and then the total surface area is 2 times the base plus the area of the sides. Okay, so that is the surface area of a prism. Now we want to look at cylinders today, and cylinders really are just a circular prism. Right? They're such an important shape, I suppose, the solid, that they get their own name. It's called a cylinder. Now, we can use exactly the same process, right? 2 times the base plus the perimeter times the height. Okay, that's going to be the surface area. Now, we are going to talk about a closed and an open cylinder as well. Now, an open cylinder has no top or bottom, right? It's like a toilet roll tube. Yep. That's called an open cylinder. In fact, we can even have a cylinder that is open at one end. That would be like a cup, I suppose. Or we have a closed cylinder with the caps on both ends. Yep. Now, we can use exactly the same process. But because it's nice and regular, and because this is always going to be some multiple of pi, and thus irregular, my screen won't move. Damn it, what's going on? Oh, there it goes. Moved. Sorry about the delay there. Some slight technical difficulties. Right, so it might be easier if we use a formula to do this, to sort of eliminate some of those rounding errors. So, remember our surface area. I'm going to say surface area is the base is pi r squared, right? That's the base of the circle, pi r squared, and there are 2 of those. And then I also need the area of the sides, which is the perimeter of the base. 2 pi r is the circumference, right? The perimeter of the base times the height of my prism. Okay, so this is just what we've been doing, except expressed as a formula, and that helps us, 1, get to the answer faster, and 2, kind of iron out some of those rounding errors that can creep in. Okay, so this is for a closed cylinder. If it was an open cylinder, right, then I wouldn't need the bases here. I would just have 2 pi rh. Anyway, example 11 asks us to calculate the surface area of this closed cylinder here. Okay, correct to 3 significant figures. So my surface area is 2 times pi times 9 squared plus 2 times pi times 9 times 10. Okay, this is my base. There are 2 bases. This is the perimeter of the base times the height. Now, trusty calculator. Hello, trusty calculator. 2 times, it's off again. 2 times pi times 9 squared. Yep. Plus 2 times pi times 9 times 10. Okay, we can see all that up there. That all looks good. Equals 1074.42, but it says 3 significant figures, so that's 1070 square centimeters. Okay, 1070 square centimeters. 3 significant figures. Wonderful. Moving along. Surface area of an open cylinder. Radius 6.5, height of 10.8. We could draw a diagram, and as much as I love them, it's not going to add much to this. Okay, we know that it's an open cylinder. You've got your highlighter there. Highlight that. Open cylinder. So my surface area is just the perimeter times the height. Okay, so it's 2 times pi times radius 6.5 times 6.5 times the height of 10.8. I need my answer to 1 decimal place. It's going to be in square centimetres. Trusty calculator. All clear. Move over here, calculator. In the road. Okay, over here. 2 times pi times 6.5 times 10.8 equals 441.1. One decimal place. Now, be careful with these sorts of questions where it specifically says decimal places or significant figures. Be aware that you won't always be marked down for doing that incorrectly, but you will almost certainly sometimes be marked down, and it's usually in these questions. Try to get right all the time. Pay extra attention in these sorts of questions that are fairly straightforward. They're likely to include that as part of the marking criteria. Okay, so that is the surface area of a cylinder. Okay, open or closed. Right. 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h for a closed cylinder, and simply 2 pi r h for an open cylinder. Wonderful. See you in class.